What's up, all you Quantum Maniacs? I'm DeQuan Young, and today we present the 10 worst NFL draft day trades ever. Also, don't forget to subscribe to TPS and make sure you hit the bell, turn on our notifications, and join the notification squad. Big shout out to Steelers Chris for suggesting this video. And don't forget to leave your video ideas down in the comments below. We're looking, and we'll give you a shout out in the video if we use it, like I just did. So the NFL draft is like Christmas for league executives, general managers, and head coaches. Every team is open for business, willing to move certain players and draft selections if it means helping their team now or in the long run. Most years, we see at least one blockbuster trade that shakes up not only the NFL draft itself, but the league as well on an entire scope. But some of the biggest draft day trades in NFL history went down as massive failures for one team, while the other club involved in these blockbuster deals committed highway robbery and never looked back. Number 10, the Broncos helped the Seahawks land Earl Thomas, 2009. The Denver Broncos hired New England Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels to take over as head coach after firing Mike Shanahan. McDaniels had his eyes set on Wake Forest cornerback Alphonso Smith. The idea of pairing him alongside Pro Bowler Champ Bailey was too much for the Broncos to pass up. And so the Broncos acquired the Seattle Seahawks 2009 second round pick and took Alphonso Smith. The cost? Denver's 2010 first round pick. Analysts were highly critical of this move at the time, and they turned out to be right. Smith only played 1 year for the Broncos and failed to make an impact. Denver would trade Smith to the Detroit Lions for Dan Gronkowski at the start of the 2010 season. Denver's 2010 first round pick wound up being 14th overall, and the Seahawks used it on safety Earl Thomas. All he did was earn 6 Pro Bowl selections while forming the Legion of Boom with Cam Chancellor and Richard Sherman. Thomas led the Seahawks to a Super Bowl 48 championship as well. And yeah, the Broncos won Super Bowl 50 with a great defense, but you'd think they could have won more with an impact player like Earl Thomas. Number 9, the Browns trade up for Trent Richardson, 2012. The Cleveland Browns had their eyes set on Alabama running back Trent Richardson. The Minnesota Vikings held the number 3 selection, but with Adrian Peterson in the fold, they had no use for T. Rich. The Browns swung a trade with the Vikings in order to move up a spot. They landed the number 3 pick and selected Richardson. The Vikings received the number 4 pick and Cleveland's 4th, 5th, and 7th round picks for 2012. Well, the Browns only had Richardson for his rookie season. Though he produced solid numbers, Cleveland wound up trading him to the Colts in exchange for a first round pick in 2014. The Vikings made good use of the haul they received from the Browns. They selected offensive tackle Matt Khalil with the number 4 pick, and he was named to the Pro Bowl in 2012. Khalil spent 5 seasons with the Vikings, anchoring their offensive line while helping the team make the playoffs in 2012 and 2015. Minnesota also drafted speedy wideout Jarius Wright with the 4th round pick they got from the Browns, and he would provide them with some solid depth at the wide receiver position. Cleveland missed out on multiple Pro Bowl studs like Luke Kuechly and Fletcher Cox in 2012, and they would use that pick from Indy to select Johnny Manziel in 2014, and we know how that turned out. The Browns gave up a lot to move up just one spot, and they only had Richardson for a year before trading him for a pick they'd waste on Johnny Manziel. Yikes. Number 8, the Jaguars trade up for Blaine Gabbert, 2011. Death, taxes, and the Jacksonville Jaguars drafting a future quarterback bust. At the 2011 draft, the Jaguars had their eyes set on Missouri quarterback Blaine Gabbert. The Washington Redskins held the 10th selection, but the Jaguars swung a deal to move up and take Gabbert with the pick. Washington received the number 16 pick and Jacksonville's 2nd round selection in return. And as we all know, Gabbert was a big-time flop in Jacksonville. He only lasted 3 seasons there and posted a woeful 5-22 record. Gabbert had 22 touchdown passes and 24 interceptions. The Redskins would use the number 16 pick on linebacker Ryan Kerrigan. Kerrigan, a 4-time Pro Bowl linebacker, had 84.5 sacks, 23 passes defended, and 25 forced fumbles through the 2018 season. Number 7, the Raiders give away Randy Moss to the Patriots, 2007. Randy Moss wound up spending just 2 years with the Oakland Raiders, and the two sides seemingly just couldn't wait to break up. Moss struggled during the 2006 season, in which he had just 42 receptions for 553 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Raiders began shopping Moss and talked to multiple teams about a trade, including the Green Bay Packers and New England Patriots. The Raiders ultimately gave away the perennial Pro Bowler to the Patriots, receiving only a 4th round pick in return. The Raiders used that pick on Cincinnati cornerback John Bowie, who obviously never became the impact player that Moss was in New England, or in even one game in his career. Bowie's career was marred by injuries, and he played just 5 games with the Raiders over 2 seasons. As for Moss, he would spend 3¼ seasons in Foxborough. He and Tom Brady rewrote the record books in 2007. Moss set a record with 23 touchdown receptions that year. The Patriots scored 589 points, which was an NFL record as well. They also won all 16 regular season games and reached Super Bowl 42, needing just 1 victory over the Giants to finish 19-0. And we all know how that game turned out. But the whole 18-1 run was still pretty remarkable, especially considering they only gave up a 4th-round pick to get a big-time impact player like Moss. He had 2 more 1,000-yard seasons in New England before being traded back to Minnesota in 2010. Number 6, the Browns passed on Julio Jones and get nothing for it. 2011. The Atlanta Falcons won 13 games and recorded the top record in the NFC for the 2010 season. But having Matt Ryan, Tony Gonzalez, and Roddy White on offense wasn't enough. So the Falcons went all out in order to land Julio Jones. Atlanta made a blockbuster trade with the Cleveland Browns, acquiring the number 6 pick to draft Julio. It looked like a big win for the Browns as well. They received 5 draft picks in return, including Atlanta's 2011 and 2012 first rounders. Well, Julio Jones is only one of the best wide receivers in the NFL right now. Him and Matty Ice have posted ridiculous stats together, and the duo helped the Falcons reach Super Bowl 51. And the Browns used those 5 selections on these guys: Phil Taylor, Greg Little, Owen Marisick, Brandon Whedon, and Trent Richardson. Yeah, not the best trade in Browns history. Number 5, the Seahawks hand the Cowboys Tony Dorsett, 1977. Even though he was a Heisman Trophy winner who led Pittsburgh to a national championship in 1976, some doubted Tony Dorsett's ability to make it big in the NFL. Dorsett apparently had no desire to play for the Seattle Seahawks either, so they were open for business with the number 2 pick. The Dallas Cowboys acquired Seattle's selection in exchange for their first rounder, plus a trio of second-round selections. The Seahawks used those picks on Steve August, Tom Lynch, and Terry Beeson. Seattle would later trade one of those selections back to Dallas, who took Glenn Carano. Dorsett made a major impact in Dallas right away. Together, he and Roger Staubach led the Cowboys to a Super Bowl 12 championship. A 4-time Pro Bowler, Dorsett retired with 12,739 rushing yards and 77 touchdowns. He was later inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. As for Seattle, August, Lynch, and Beeson failed to produce pretty much anything. The Seahawks were burned by this trade for a long time, while the Cowboys continued their run as America's team. Number 4, the Rams drive the bus to Pittsburgh, 1996. The St. Louis Rams already had a star running back in Jerome Bettis, but they didn't want to pass up on Lawrence Phillips, the talented but very troubled Nebraska product. And so the Rams traded Bettis to the Pittsburgh Steelers and received 2 draft selections in return. Well, Jerome Bettis emerged as a key part of the Steelers' offense and was a perennial Pro Bowl running back. He helped the Steelers become an AFC powerhouse in the mid-90s and early 2000s. Bettis helped the Steelers win Super Bowl 40 before retiring. He was later inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. As for the Rams, they would select Phillips with the 6th overall pick, but he couldn't stay out of trouble and only lasted 2 years in the organization. He's widely regarded as one of the biggest running back busts ever. The Rams would use their 2nd pick from the Steelers on tight end Ernie Conwell. He was an All-Pro selection in 2011 and won Super Bowl 34. But of course, he wasn't a game changer like Jerome Bettis. Number 3, RG3 trade, massive fail, 2012. As you recall, this whole draft was about Andrew Luck and RG3, with the former going 1st overall to the Indianapolis Colts. So the Rams and Redskins agreed to a massive blockbuster trade. Washington received the number 2 pick from the Rams in exchange for their first rounders in 2012, 13, and 14, plus the number 39 pick in 2012. Griffin had one good year in Washington, leading them to an NFC East Division title and taking home the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Unfortunately, knee injuries quickly derailed his career, and Griffin lost the starting job in the midst of the 2014 season. The Redskins ended up releasing him after just 4 years. But if it makes Washington fans feel better, the Rams didn't exactly make the most of their picks after making a handful of trades. The Rams got these guys from the RG3 trade: Michael Brockers, Janoris Jenkins, Isaiah P., Rokevius Watkins, Alec Ogletree, Stedman Bailey, Zach Stacy, and Greg Robinson. How 2 teams can make such a giant blockbuster trade like this with all of these first-round picks and get very little out of it is beyond us. This is beyond me. This was a huge mistake for both teams. Number 2, the Patriots hand Jerry Rice to the 49ers, 1985. Niners head coach Bill Walsh wanted Jerry Rice badly at the 1985 draft, but he was worried that the rival Dallas Cowboys would get their hands on the star wideout. Walsh and the 49ers managed to complete a trade with the New England Patriots, earning the 16th selection in exchange for the 49ers first rounder and an additional draft pick. Well, Jerry Rice only became the greatest wide receiver in NFL history. He led the 49ers to 3 Super Bowl championships and is the all-time leader in just about every major receiving category. Getting the most dominant NFL player ever and having him lead you to 3 Super Bowls? I'll do that trade any day of the week. And as for the Patriots, they wouldn't do much of anything with their haul from San Fran. But, I kind of think they had a good future ahead of them. Number 1, the Saints trade the world for Ricky Williams, 1999. At the 1999 NFL Draft, New Orleans Saints head coach Mike Ditka wanted one man and nobody else. That was Heisman Trophy winner Ricky Williams, the stud running back out of Texas. Ditka acquired the 5th overall selections from the Washington Redskins and selected Ricky Williams. In return, Ditka gave up every single draft pick he had in 1999. And he sent the Redskins the Saints' 1st and 3rd rounders in the year 2000. Now, Williams produced well in his 3 years with the Saints, which included a pair of 1,000-yard seasons. However, the Saints traded him to the Miami Dolphins after 2001. The Redskins would move some of those picks around and land future Pro Bowl corner Champ Bailey and a reliable offensive lineman in John Jansen. And with the number 2 pick in 2000, Washington drafted future Pro Bowl linebacker LeVar Arrington. I think we can go ahead and make the claim that this was a huge win for Washington and a major mistake by Mike Ditka and the New Orleans front office. Which other horrible NFL draft day trades should we have included? Join us in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton and we truly appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching and we'll see you guys next time.